Good Friday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Here are a few of the stories we have coming up for you tonight. The State Department of Fish and Wildlife wants to treat a popular Grant County fishing lake with an organic pesticide in order to keep down the population of undesirable fish species. The Chelan Regional Port Authority held an open house yesterday centered on the potential regional sports complex. Breezy and slightly cooler to start our weekend tomorrow, and then much cooler on Father's Day and into next week. Police on Thursday were able to catch up with the Wenatchee man who allegedly fled from them 2 weeks ago as they tried to arrest him on warrants. Francisco Alonzo Lopez, 25 years old, was sentenced in 2020 to 2 years in prison time for assaulting another man at an East Wenatchee party. After his release, he was sought on suspicion of domestic violence and probation violations. Wenatchee police say on June 4th, Lopez ran from his home near Western Avenue when they tried to arrest him there. Yesterday, police caught up with Lopez in East Wenatchee. He's now held in the Chelan County Jail, facing a possible additional charge of first-degree escape. One of the two men who escaped from the Okanagan County Jail spent less time in prison for his prior crimes than anticipated. Christopher Whitman fled from the jail through the roof in January 2021 while awaiting trial for Douglas County charges, including stolen vehicle possession and reckless driving. Once recaptured 9 days later, he was also charged with escape. He pleaded guilty to all charges and received a 3.5-year prison sentence. But on Thursday, the State Court of Appeals agreed that Whitman's 4 months spent in jail hadn't been properly applied when calculating the time he had left to serve. A new sentence will be entered, but Whitman has been free since last December and will remain so. The man he escaped jail with, Christian Edward White of Rock Island, is still serving 7.5 years in prison. The State Department of Fish and Wildlife wants to treat a popular Grant County fishing lake with an organic pesticide in order to keep down the population of undesirable fish species. Canal Lake, south of Potholes Reservoir, is a hot spot for rainbow trout, and Fish and Wildlife says it's debating whether to treat the water with rotenone used to eliminate goldfish, bluegill, yellow perch, and other species that compete with that fish. The agency is currently accepting public comment on the rotenone strategy through June 23rd. The decision expected to be made later this month. A little blue electric bus will soon be cruising around the Wenatchee Valley. Link Transit will be operating a Carson eGest Link Plus paratransit service over the next few weeks in Wenatchee and East Wenatchee. The trial will allow Link to gather feedback from operators to see how the vehicles work in the local environment and hear thoughts from the riders. Carson has manufacturing facilities in Germany and Turkey, and their eGest is their smallest vehicle with a 43-mile-per-hour top speed and range of 130 miles. The bus is specifically designed for in-town use, paratransit services, and routes with lower ridership. When we come back, North Central Washington Libraries has been named a recipient of a $20,000 grant that will help them make improvements to their buildings in Brewster and Peshastin. The Chelan Regional Port Authority held an open house yesterday centered on the potential regional sports complex. And we will give you a heads up on what's closed Monday for the Juneteenth holiday. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Hi everybody, Dan Coos alongside Jesse Coble from Alpine Air. My heat pump there's like steam coming out of it. It's making weird noises. Is this something I need to be concerned about?
No, Dan, that's normal operation. Refrigeration technology steals heat from the outside, transfers it to the inside, and it creates frost on your heat pump. The defrost cycle melts that off, which creates steam and a little bit of noise.
That makes sense. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. Thanks, Jesse.
Thank you.
Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa, located on South Wenatchee Ave, has the largest selection of spas and swim spas in town. Stay cool this summer in an artesian swim spa and use it all year long. We enjoy helping families reconnect one spa at a time. Hot tubs are proven to improve sleep and decrease arthritis pain. Our passion is water, so please bring us a water sample, and we will help you diagnose your pool or spa water for free. Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa, your pool and spa experts.
The Lake Chelan Rotary Club invites you to experience Cycle Chelan, held June 24th, 2023. Pick your thrill from 4 rides: the Metric Century Challenge, Cycle Divino, the Lake Loop, or the Butte Blast. All profits from Cycle Chelan are used to support student scholarships and other charitable activities of the Lake Chelan Rotary Club. Cycle Chelan 2023, a route for every rider. Pick your thrill today.
North Central Washington Libraries has been named a recipient of a $20,000 grant that will help them make improvements to their buildings in Brewster and Peshastin. They're one of 240 libraries to participate in Libraries Transforming Communities, Accessible Small and Rural Communities. That's an initiative to help small and rural libraries better serve people with disabilities. The Brewster and Peshastin projects will be completed in coordination with the district-wide Re-Imaging Spaces Interior Design Initiative. The funding will help North Central Library's staff take an online course on leading community conversations, host residents to discuss barriers to access, and identify key improvements to address those barriers. The 2 libraries were identified as candidates because of the building accessibility challenges and pre-planned remodels. Curious community members and local leadership joined the Chelan Douglas Regional Port Authority for an open house centered on the potential regional sports complex yesterday. Folks were able to provide input on what they'd most like to see at the complex by placing stickers on poster boards and writing thoughts and questions on sticky notes. There were 2 open houses held for community input as well as a series of focus groups. East Wenatchee Mayor Gerald Crawford, who serves as the chair of the steering committee, spoke with NCWLIFE News about the goals of the complex and what's next.
Sports complexes are very expensive, and I think we most elected leaders know that it would be a challenge for any one of us to build something on our own. So say City of East Wenatchee, because I'm the mayor of East Wenatchee, if the region came and said, gosh, we want a facility at East Wenatchee, you should build it. It would be a heavy lift and it probably wouldn't get done because we just don't have those kinds of resources. So if we can look into building something collectively where all of the area is jointly participating, joint ownership, and that people vote to approve something to be built, I think it has a better chance of success. So they're still in this gathering of information phase. The survey is next and reaching out and getting a lot of online feedback from the community. Then they'll be taking that information and condensing it down into trends and some consistencies. At the same time, simultaneously, they're looking and evaluating our current fields and pools and what we have in our inventory in the region, and looking at, what is the life expectancy of, let's say, the Wenatchee pool or the various soccer fields, and being able to say, yes, in 10 years, you're going to need to do something significant here because it's at the end of its life or it's overused. And then also looking at opportunity. I think they're going to look at, you have an opportunity in this community to add more fields. So I think at the same time that they're collecting information from our citizens, they're doing kind of some evaluations of what we have.
This coming Monday, the 19th of June, marks Juneteenth, commemorating the effective end of slavery in the United States in 1865. It's also called Emancipation Day or Freedom Day, recognizing the date when enslaved people in Texas learned of their right to be free. This is the second year the state of Washington has recognized Juneteenth as a legal holiday, meaning on Monday, all state offices will be closed, as well as local government offices, including city halls and Wenatchee Wenatchee, East Wenatchee, and other cities. All county buildings will also be closed for business, including Chelan and Douglas County, as will all federal government services. Coming up next in tonight's feature story, the Wenatchee River Bluegrass Festival has been going on for 2 decades this year, and it returns today through Sunday at the Chelan County Expo Center outside Cashmere. Cooler with breezy conditions to kick off our weekend tomorrow, and then much cooler Father's Day into next week. I'll have all the details in your complete North Central Washington weather forecast. That and much more still to come tonight. Please stay with us.
This is it. The RV sales event of the year is happening now at the Town Toyota Center during the Summer Getaway Sales Event. Choose from the best brands, Grand Design, Flagstaff, Thor, SMC trailers, and more. Over 600 RVs to choose from. Payments just $239 per month and $2,000 over JD Power for your trade-in. Plus, get a Yeti cooler and Traeger grill with your purchase. Don't let these summer deals get away. 5 days only, June 16th through the 20th. The hottest deals at the Summer Getaway Event. Now at the Town Toyota Center, just off Walla Walla Avenue. Hurry in today.
Did you know people 65 or older make up 12% of the U.S. population but consume 34% of all prescription drugs? Protect yourself and your aged loved ones from prescription errors. Always read labels carefully to avoid mistakes. Ask your pharmacist if over-the-counter medicines conflict with your prescriptions, and never skip doses or take more than is prescribed. This message sponsored by Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington. Call 1-800-572-4459 for prescription assistance.
The Wenatchee River Bluegrass Festival has been going on for 2 decades this year, and it's gained a reputation for bringing in some of the leading purveyors of old-time sound. The festival returns today through Sunday at the Chelan County Expo Center outside Cashmere. In tonight's feature story, NCWLIFE's Dan Kuntz spoke with talent organizer Chuck Egner about how he recruits top-notch performers to play on the fairground stage.
So we've got a 9-person board, and we've got a great group of friends. And there's festivals all over the Northwest and down to California and back east. 2 of our board members live in Nashville. And so what happens typically is somebody sends an email to the group and says, hey, you ought to check these guys out. Or I met some of the people in Sister Sadie, and they inquired about the festival. They've heard of you guys. And next thing you know, we'll just kick the tires. You know, I'll find out who their agent is or who the lead person is. And I'll just say, hey, we've got a festival 3rd weekend in June. You interested? And I've never heard one yet that said no. I've heard a couple of them that say, for instance, Tim O'Brien, there's a festival at Telluride that's been going there for 45 or 50 years. He's been to every one of them. We're never going to get Tim O'Brien here, unfortunately, because he's loyal to that festival, and we appreciate that. Kenny and Amanda are loyal to us, so we know we can always get them when we want them. But it's word of mouth, and then that starts the cycle of emails back and forth and talking, and then we got to talk about money and lodging and all that. But it all works out.
You have a reputation that the other acts know, hey, this is a great place to come. The people are great. The weather is usually fantastic. It's a great venue, and they're true fans of the genre. So that makes it a little bit easier, doesn't it?
Yeah, and the bands like coming here for one main reason, well, beside all of our charm and that kind of stuff. Back east, all the festivals, or not all, but the vast majority are outdoors. People bring their lawn chairs. They're all spread out all over the place. They're catching up, they're talking, they're telling each other their stories, and the band's up there knocking their brains out. And, you know, I'm not going to say nobody's listening. A lot of people do, but it's not rapt attention. And that building over there, if you come in the evening when the bands are playing, you could hear a pin drop if the band wasn't playing. Everyone is focused on the stage. And the band responds to that, and they love it. They hate playing in front of a bunch of lawn chairs. So that's a big deal for the bands. I hear that every year.
What is it about bluegrass? I love it, and I know you do as well. Is it the musicianship? Is it the fact that it's a true Americana music? What is it that attracts people to bluegrass?
It's approachable, both the music and the people. Mm-hmm. So after the shows, the musicians, they don't jump in their car and go to the motel. Typically, they come over here and grab some ribs, have a beer maybe, walk around. There are various different levels of musicians that camp here. You know, I'm in the intermediate area. There's some advanced people, and those bands tend to find the advanced people and sit down and jam. And for the advanced people, even if they're really good here regionally, it's a thrill for them to play with the national guys. And you don't see a blues guy drag his Telecaster and his Fender Twin Reverb out into the campground. Mm-hmm. It's just impractical.
Time now for a check of your North Central Washington weather forecast. Hope your Friday was a good one. All that wildfire smoke that we had yesterday cleared out late yesterday afternoon and last night made for a beautiful day today. We did see some high clouds and even some mid-level clouds, but all in all, a nice warm mid-June day. Beautiful shot of Lake Wenatchee. Kaler Glen Golf Course would have been a great place to be today. And of course, Father's Day coming up. Let's check that Father's Day weekend. For tomorrow, we could see a few mountain showers. If you are heading west into the Seattle area, you might see a sprinkle or two. We will see some breezy conditions tomorrow and a little bit cooler. Highs in the mid-70s for Saturday. And then on Father's Day Sunday, we will see cooler temperatures. We are talking much cooler, maybe a little bit breezy Sunday with high temperatures right around 65 degrees. We'll talk more about that coming up. 82, our unofficial high temperature today. We're back above normal for the first time in a few days. 78 is our normal high for this time of year. 104, our record high, and that has stood a long time. That's a hot temperature for June 16th. 61, our overnight low this morning. 55 is where we should be for a low this time of year. And 43 is our record low, and that was set back in 2010. Sunrise, 5:03 this morning. Sunset now straight up at 9 o'clock. All right, let's get you into the weekend now and show you what we can expect as we get into Saturday. Temperatures will cool in some areas almost 10 degrees, but still, this is where we should be for this time of year. 80 for Moses Lake, 79 in Ephrata, 78 for Quincy, 76 in the Wenatchee area, and pretty much mid-70s all the way up the Highway 97 corridor, 75 in Leavenworth, and 71 the high temperature tomorrow if you're headed up to Lake Wenatchee. Maybe a camping trip this weekend. It's going to get cool though, and we'll talk about that in a second. Tonight, mostly cloudy skies. Might see a sprinkle or two. You probably noticed the clouds roll in this afternoon. I think most of the rain shower activity will be in the Cascades. For Saturday, partly cloudy skies, but yes, breezy conditions tomorrow at times. It will be cooler as we talked about. High temperatures for your Saturday, generally in those mid-70s. And then for Father's Day on Sunday, things really begin to change. High pressure will get pushed back out in the Pacific, and we will see a low-pressure trough begin to develop in the western U.S. That'll allow some cooler air to move in. Windy conditions with that. High temperatures only in the mid-60s for Father's Day, and we're going to stay that way. Monday, mostly cloudy skies. As that low moves across southern Canada, about a 20% chance for scattered showers on Monday. Highs again only in those mid-60s. And then for Tuesday, an even better shot for some moisture. The tail end of that front will begin to push east. We'll see a 40% chance for rain. And boy, you can see it almost throughout the state for Tuesday. High temperatures will remain well below normal on Tuesday, into the mid-60s again. And then for our first day of summer on Wednesday, we will see partly cloudy skies. High pressure begins to push back into the west coast, and that will allow us to warm into the low 70s on Wednesday. And we're going to do even better on that as we get you to Thursday. Clear skies all over the western United States on Thursday. High pressure back in control. We'll see sunshine, and by the end of our forecast, high temperatures in the upper 70s to near 80 degrees. Let's take a look now at your 7-day forecast. 58 the overnight low tonight. Breezy conditions for Saturday and 76, and then much cooler as we get you into a Father's Day. Partly cloudy, breezy on Sunday and 65. A chance for rain both Monday and Tuesday. Best chance being on Tuesday. High temperatures only in the mid-60s before we begin to warm up. Some clouds for Wednesday and 71, and then by Thursday, really nice. Mostly sunny skies and warmer with a high temperature then of 78. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
I have no idea what I'm doing. That's why we need you. We need people to run camera so I can get back down on the broadcast and talk about what's going on. We pay $75 per event. If it's sports, if it's a parade, if it's Apple Blossom, if it's the Super Oval, $75. If that sounds like some extra good money for you, we'd love you to be part of our team. All you have to do is email me, sports@ncwlife.com. sports@ncwlife.com. In the meantime, I gotta go figure out this camera.
Pitch to the plate on an 0-2.
Wenatchee Apple Sox baseball is back on the NCWLIFE channel. Join us Tuesday, June 27th as the Apple Sox host the Port Angeles Lefties. Coverage is brought to you by Apple Valley Honda, Confluence Health, JDSA Law, Mary Maids, Mini Blinds and more, Prestige Senior Living at Colonial Vista, Together for Youth, Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center, and Walkabout Grill. Your television home for Apple Sox baseball is the NCWLIFE channel.
Before the
Well, the breaking story of the day is the Wenatchee Wild are joining the WHL. Had a chance to talk with Bliss Littler earlier today about what that means for the organization.
Yes, we purchased the Winnipeg Ice franchise. The last couple of years, they've had arguably one of the top two teams in the league. They played in the Western League Final this year against Seattle. We will acquire their franchise. With that, we take their 50-player list, so you take all their players. And instead of reporting to Winnipeg, they'll report here.
Bliss says the Wild will go from an outlier in other leagues that it's been a part of to being a central team in the Western Hockey League.
We've always said that we've been an outlier in the North American Hockey League where we had to fly every place. We're the southernmost team in the BCHL, and all of a sudden we go to the team that has the best travel. Like, we are right in the center with, Tri-City, Spokane, Everett, Seattle, Portland, and then you get into Canada, and we're 4 hours from Kelowna, 4.5 to Vancouver. So we have 7 of the 10 teams in our conference that we play that are, they're 4.5 hours away. So we've never had a place where our fans can really travel, or the other team's fans travel here. So I think this is going to be huge for the community.
So what does this mean for fans?
There's 8 additional games. Okay, so we went from 26 games to 34. So they can either say, hey, it's too many games, we're going to cancel our tickets, or they'll have a box to check and to renew. And actually, we even have a box for not raising their prices for 24, 25 if they sign up right now. So that'll all be sent to our season ticket holders this afternoon.
The Wenatchee Wild entering the Western Hockey League starting this fall. More to come on that. Staying on the local front, the Wenatchee Apple Sox fell in the final game of a 3-game set to the Springfield Drifters last night by a final of 10-8. Wenatchee got two two-run home runs, but not quite enough, as we hear from the voice of the Apple Sox, Joel Norman.
The Wenatchee Apple Sox hit 2 home runs and scored all 8 of their runs with 2 outs, but fell to the Springfield Drifters 10-8 in the series finale on Thursday night at the Hamlin Sports Complex. Reeve Boyd launched his first home run of the season in a 3-hit effort, also his first 3-hit game of the season, and Easton Amundsen hit an opposite field home run 413 feet over the left center field fence for his team-leading third home run of the season, but it was not enough for Wenatchee. After a clean night defensively on Wednesday, it committed 3 errors on Thursday night and fell unable to finish off the sweep of the Drifters. Wenatchee opens up a 4-game homestand on Friday night at 6:35 p.m. as it takes on the Kelowna Falcons. With your Apple Sox update, I'm Joel Norman.
Wenatchee returns home to take on the Kelowna Falcons here tonight at Paul Thomas Senior Stadium. We'll have that game live starting with the pregame and Grant Olson and Josh Irwin coming up at 6:30. In other West Coast League play last night, 8th-inning RBI singles by A.J. Singer and Sam Canton were the difference for Cowlitz as the Black Bears beat Walla Walla 4-3. Tai Yukamoto's 2-run single highlighted a 5-run 5th inning for Corvallis as the Knights beat Ben 9-1. Yakima Valley brought 11 men to the plate in a 7-run 6th inning as the Pippins beat Nanaimo 13-8. Tommy Eisenstadt led the way for Yakima Valley at the plate, going 2 for 5 with a run and 3 RBI. Kelowna comes to town after salvaging the final game of a 3-game set in Bellingham last night, 3-1. Sam Flores hit a solo home run while Sasha Kamenjancevic struck out 7 over 4 1/3 for the win. Jared Sucro's 2-run single highlighted a 5-run 9th inning for Kamloops as the Northpaws beat Edmonton 10-5, and Andy Allenson was 3 for 5 with a run and an RBI to lead Ridgefield over Portland 5-3. Bellingham's lead in the West Coast League North Division remains at a game over Wenatchee and Victoria. Kelowna comes into town at 7-5, good enough for 4th in the division, 3 games out of first place. Well, the Mariners are back home tonight after a day off yesterday to take on the Chicago White Sox. Chicago comes to town 10 games under 500, while the Mariners are just a game under 500. The game tonight at 7:10 on not Root Sports Northwest. The only way to see it is Apple TV Plus. So, hey, just tune into Apple Sox broadcast right here on the NCW Life channel. Things are back to normal in Oakland, where the A's have lost 2 straight, and hardly anybody showed up at the ballpark last night. It was Tampa Bay's Luke Raley hitting a solo home run in the top of the 8th inning to break a 3-all tie and give the Rays a 4-3 win. Shohei Ohtani earned his 6th victory on the mound and his 22nd home run of the season to lead the Angels over Texas 5-3. LA took 3 of 4 from the Rangers and now head for Kansas City. Washington scored 3 runs in the top of the 10th inning and to hand Houston a 4-1 loss. Astros took 2 of 3 from the Nationals in the series and now host the Reds over the weekend. That's a look at sports news. I'm Eric Granstrom. Have a happy Friday.
Next edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, Dr. Gene Sherritt, one of the organizers of Kindness Counts NCW, gives us his monthly update, Gene.
Well, the turnout has been tremendous. The interest has been great. We continue to expand to schools and cities around the area. And Dan, it has exceeded our expectations. We are excited, and we're going to launch a number of summer programs as well as a big effort in the fall.
And Gene took a little vacation, by the way. We'll have photos of that, too. Everybody loves that. On the next edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley.
And that will do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks so much for being with us. Happy Father's Day to all you dads out there. Have a great weekend.